Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning to these videos. In this video, I wanted to read some precepts going into Jacob's trouble. And as we were out there on the highways and hedges preaching these things, like it says in Matthew 11, we've piped unto these people. They're like children at the marketplace. We're singing this very lovely song about salvation for the elect. But these people, they're not mourning and they're not lamenting. They are part of this society, and they don't ultimately want this prophecy to come to pass. They actually consider things, well, there's some that consider what we're saying to be fact, but then they always have that rhetoric that that's going to happen not within their lifetime. Like it's going to happen in their kids' lifetime or their grandkids' lifetime. But ultimately, these prophecies are not prolonging. It's letting us know that we're that much closer to our salvation. And that's what we should be looking for. Let me actually get a quick precept, because this is something that's a rhetoric that these people always rebuttal with whenever we're out there on the highways and hedges. This is something that they constantly say. This is in Ezekiel 12, and I'm going to start at verse 26. It says, "Again, the word of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of times that are far off." And that's that, like, from our apostles of Great Millstone or elders on down, we've been bringing up the chip, the MOTB, something that is commanded of us not to take. And though it prolonged, you're seeing it accelerate now. Let me actually get another precept before I finish this one off. And this one's going to be in Habakkuk. This is in Habakkuk 2, verse 1. It says, "I will stand upon my watch, and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved." And we are the watchmen of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, measuring the times diligently, seeing for the hastening and returning of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because, as it says in Matthew 24, these things are going to happen. Wars, rumors of wars, and all these things. And we're not soon shaken in mind. Our faith is elevated because of these prophecies. So as we're watchmen, we're standing on the watch, witnessing these things. Continuing on, verse 2, it says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." And when we do these videos, when we're out there on the highways and hedges, we really teach with a simplicity mindset, so that anybody walking by can pretty much get the gist of what we're out there for. The return and heralding of Yahweh Shai, and the condemnation of not just the heathens, but the 2/3 also who are going to reject this message. Because they rejected him, he's going to reject them. So I'm going to continue on verse 2, Salakia verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." And yes, it's been like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in the making of all of these things. But really, Esau Edom has this saying in the world that like all of this advanced technology, it's all military tech, but 30 years ahead. Like we really just get the late stuff, like with telephones and all that stuff. That was stuff that they were using when they were in war, during the Vietnam War and so forth. They get a lot of technology out of those eras. Whenever like the American government is in war, they put all their research and development to make weapons of war. And then we get all these extra things like telecommunications, medicines, or what have you. But ultimately, even though it's been 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, we're witnessing this thing being revealed. Esau Edom is trying to establish his New World Order agenda and pretty much put that final capstone in that Illuminati pyramid that you see in the back of the dollar bill. And this is something that they've been planning for eras, decades. And so what manner of person are you to be as a watchman of Yahushai, seeing these things, seeing Esau Edom inch closer and closer to supposed world domination, we should be looking for and hastening the return of Yahushai, because that's the only way we're going to be able to make it out of this coming destruction. And so, like from this last verse here, this vision is for an appointed time, but at the end it's speaking. And so now these people don't have an excuse. We're literally at the last of like the go around. The elect is being sealed, and if you haven't picked up this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding right now, you're going to be likened unto those 5 virgins who were foolish. They didn't tarry. They weren't hastening the time. They weren't looking for the bridegroom. They didn't have that wisdom. And this right here is wisdom. Perceiving that there's going to be impending doom, devastation, and destruction down here before the return of Yahushai. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. So let me continue on. This is in Ezekiel 12, verse 27, because this is that rhetoric that the 2/3 will always say. It says, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he saith is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of the times that are far off. And that's something that we've actually encountered. So-called brothers that were in this ministry, they fell out, and this was a rhetoric or a thing that they just repeated, that this thing is going to happen, but it's probably going to happen 10 years or 100 years down the line. I'm allowed to live my life. That's what basically the 2/3 mindset is. But verse 28 says, Therefore say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, There shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai power. And the prophecies are speaking louder than ever. You literally have no excuse now. And so this right here is a precept going into that, because all the prophets of the scriptures did this exact same thing. We're just doing this in the last go around so that we can seal our salvation, being part of the hopeful elect. So this is Jeremiah 28:8. It says, The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Verse 9, The prophet which prophesieth of peace, when the word of the prophets, says, when the word of the prophets shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai hath truly sent him. And you could pretty much apply this to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, because we've been saying these things and we've been holding signs, and now they're starting to manifest. The USSR, that was a scoff that people would walk by whenever they saw the missiles. It has the USSR representing the old Soviet regime of Russia. But things aren't looking like you can scoff at that anymore, because Russia is always being talked about in the news as if they're that axis of power. So now these prophecies are happening. These things are taking place, and there's nowhere to escape. If you try to escape this truth, you're going to bump into it eventually. In your algorithms or in your daily watching of TV, everyone knows pretty much at this point what's taking place. Even atheist people are considering these notions. They have that understanding, at least, that like this is the end of the world. And the things that are written in the scriptures, because now we, of the hopeful elect, we have this oil and this eye salve to see clearly of these visions. So I'm going to read this other precept, because when all these things are said and done, we are also prophesying about Jacob's trouble and the hour of temptation that everybody's going to be tried under. And the only people that are going to be saved out of that are those that are prudent, hiding themselves in this sanctuary of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So this right here is a forewarning of these things. Warn them from me. Jeremiah 30:7, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And that he is speaking about the elect of the nation of Israel. Though they go through all of these situations, their works are going to follow them. And the angels are going to take care of them so they could fulfill the mission that they were put down here to do. All right, so I just have a few more precepts just going into the 2/3, because, like I said, we're warning them from him. Woe unto them that are at ease in Zion, because like I quoted that in Matthew 11. Let me actually get that real quick. So because this song is not about peace and prosperity in the sense that people think it is. Yeah, we're gonna preach about the kingdom and the glories of that, but before the kingdom happens, a lot of the society that we're seeing has to be broken down. So let me get this precept real quick. And like these things, when we're speaking about these things, earthquakes, wars, rumors of wars, that should excite you, because that lets us know that our salvation is nearer than we believe. We know and understand that this place is not our rest. We're chanting down Babylon. We don't want to be partakers of this place, especially during its destruction. So this is Matthew 11, verse, let me see, I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, "But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets, and calling unto their fellows, and saying, We have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented." And that's what the senses of the 2/3 are. As we're preaching this doom and gloom, they basically are calling us like the party poopers. We're telling them pretty much that like this wicked party that you're partaking in here in Babylon is going to come to an end, and it's never going to come back. And that lets you know that we are sent by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, like it says in Jeremiah. We're not preaching, prophesying that America is going to last. We're going to take over the White House and make a new America. No, none of that is in the scriptures. What is in the scriptures is the destruction and the dismantling of this place, and everybody who take holds of this place, namely the 2/3 of our people. And this is in Zechariah 13:8. It says, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd shall be left therein." So this is a big number here of the nation of Israel. And Israel is as the sand of the sea. And if you've been in this ministry for a while, you've been at the highways and hedges, you've experienced this very well. You only got a small number of men coming up to these camps, inquiring about their salvation and studying under us, and also people basically enduring also with us, because this right here is a big number that the 2/3 are going to be cut off and die, but the 3rd, the hopeful elect, are going to be delivered. It speaks about that in various places in the scriptures, but also in Amos 9. It talks about how the Lord is going to sieve this place like corn, but that least grain is not going to be harmed in this destruction. That least grain, the hopeful elect, is basically his heirloom plant, that he's going to start the new nation of Israel in the kingdom. All right, so got a few more precepts, but this one right here, this one's in 2nd Ezra 9, and like you can really read this whole chapter right here, because it goes into like what I was just saying with Jacob's trouble, the 2/3, and then the 1/3, the elect, and how they're going to endure through these things. But I'll start at the top. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." So what I just read in Jeremiah, and also the precepts in Matthew 24, and also what I was reading in Habakkuk 2. We are the watchmen of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and we're measuring the times diligently. We know very well that Esau Edom is unveiling these things with gradualism, and we're basically getting ready, packing up our spiritual bags so that we could depart from this place, and also being pilgrims during this destruction, during Jacob's trouble, during the time of calamity. And so I'm going to continue on. Verse 3, it says, "Therefore, where there shall be seen earthquakes and uppers of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For as For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And it's a good thing that this place is going to end. And better is the end of a thing than the beginning of it, as King Solomon says in the scriptures. Verse 7, it says, "And every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning." So as it's saying doom and gloom, like it says in Jeremiah, wars, rumors of wars, like it says in Matthew 24, earthquakes and uproars of the people, as it says in this chapter right here, it speaks also about the deliverance and the protection of the hopeful elect. And it's really what makes them the hopeful elect is because they have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. They're going to be escaping these woes by the works and the faith that they have believed and like trust in this ministry. So continuing on in verse 8, it says, "They shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning." And this is also reiterated in Ezekiel 9 as an angel going out through the midst, marking them with a mark of exemption. Those who are doing the right thing and those who are not doing the right thing. Those that are sighing and crying for Yahweh Hashem Hashai, and those that are latched on to this Babylonian world. And if they don't have that mark of exemption, then these woes are going to hurt them. They're going to do away with these people. Only way you're going to be able to deliver out of this is if you're of the hopeful elect. We'll continue on verse 10. It says, "For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was opened unto them, understood not but despised it." And like I quoted in Matthew 11, like we're singing this very lovely song. Technically, you should have the whole nation of Israel coming to the camps and then facing towards the east and praying for the deliverance. But if we theoretically did that, we had every Israelite lined up praying to the east. You're gonna have one bug out praying the wrong way, and another bug out praying to Krishna or Buddha or Cesare Borgia. So the only way we're going to be able to make it is with the 144,000 elect that are doing those things. And so I'm going to continue on verse 12. It says, "The same must know it after death by pain." And verse 13 it says, "And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, those who the world is and from whom the world is created." Because this is declaring the end from the beginning. If this deliverance applies to you, it means that you are one of those angels, the Alahayim, that were there in the beginning. Is basically reincarnation right here. Because these 2/3 and the rest of the lot, like these people, they're basically just laden with iniquity. Prime for the destruction, pretty much. And the last precept I want to hear, because I had read this in 2nd Ezra 9, we're not curious about them. Like when a bug out causes a fuss at our camp, we send the curses at them and they go on their way, and that's that out for that. We're only worried about the elect. We are fishers of men. And if we were to supposedly catch an eel or something that's unclean, we cast it out. Or it's eventually going to get cast out. So this is basically the mindset that you should have for the 2/3. And yeah, I get it. I understand. Even Jeremiah went through those situations where he felt bad for our people that are in this low state. But basically, this is something that's reiterated in the scriptures. You should seek your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's the characteristics of the hopeful elect. This is in Jeremiah 7:16. It says, "Therefore, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee." Because why are we at so late in the game that we're going to be helping a person that's kicking against the pricks, walking uphill when all we're doing is just giving this knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding freely. But it just goes to show you that, like, even a stubborn person who doesn't want to hear about owning slaves, the kingdom, the riches are not comely to them. They don't desire thrones and scepters. Who do desire thrones and scepters and all those things are the hopeful elect. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Akim and the hopeful elect.